Thanks for tuning in to Geyer Baseball Weekly. The start of district play with Geyer hosting Plano High School at home on Tuesday night and then on the road Friday night over in Plano. Our weekly visit with Geyer head coach Pat Watson. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
And your team wrapped up the tournament season with another great weekend of baseball and finishes the tournament season 11-3-2. You must be pleased with the way your team is playing right now leading up to district.
Yeah, you know, this past weekend when we went to the Highland Park Scotland Yard Classic, it was a case of when the Texas High School baseball poll came out on Tuesday, I think it was. We were playing five teams ranked in the top 15 in the state in Class 6A. And all the time looking at it, wins and losses, I was kind of hoping, maybe get 2 wins out of it, but just as long as we play well, that, leading up in the district and see some good pitching and not make mistakes, that was mainly our main goal, is to get ready for Tuesday night's game against Plano. And, our guys stepped up to the plate and they competed and they played well. It was a case of getting pitchers throwing strikes, and we hit the ball. And we didn't make a lot of mistakes. And for us to go 4-1-1 in that tournament, it opened some eyes around there. I think we drew one of the tougher draws in that tournament. So it was good. It was a good weekend.
Coach, do you put a whole lot of weight in the rankings? You mentioned you played teams that were ranked in the top 20 in the state of Texas. Some folks think after your weekend that Geyer might break into the top 20. What are your thoughts here?
Well, the rankings are always something good to go. It's it really doesn't matter come playoff time, because it all at the end of the year, if you make the playoffs, there's only one team that's going to win their last game along the way, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other ones who end up losing their last game. That's just the way it falls. But rankings is something it's fun to kind of keep up with and kind of gauge yourself and kind of see what type of teams there are around the way. For us to go, we used it as a measuring stick of kind of where we're at and where we want to be. I said all along when I came here, I want people to notice us, to put Geyer on the map of being a baseball powerhouse. Hopefully we surprise some people this weekend. It's a fun thing to have, but along with the rankings come expectations along the way. When you do that, you put a big old target on your back and everybody's shooting for you, and besides being a hunter, you now become the hunted. Your game has to rise up another level. And so hopefully it will.
Last Thursday, you opened up with Highland Park at their place behind starter J.T. Thompson, throwing 1 hit in 7 innings, and then only allowed 2 hits for the entire game. Highland Park allowed 7 hits in a 2-1 heavyweight matchup. You come out on the winning side of that one. Jordan Beminio, Wyatt Gaines each had an RBI that contributed to the win, which proved to be the offensive difference. Were you expecting this type of performance this early in the season?
Going into the 7th inning, we had 2 hits, and they had 1 hit along the way. Both teams were pitching well. They're at Highland Park. The baseball field is the stands are sitting right on top of you. Everything's packed in, and it makes the pitching even look a little harder than what it is. And we found a way. We played the 8th. We got out of it. We had our opportunities along the way multiple times that we had guys in scoring position and we're not able to get it done. 9th inning, we were at a 2-hour time limit, and we played 8 innings in 1 hour and 55, and we still had 5 minutes left. And so we said, let's go play another one. Ended up scoring 2 runs, and then Dylan Parham goes out and walks the first 2 guys and had to make a change there. And so they got guys at first and second with no outs, and we got out of it with just scoring 1 run with a double play to end the ball game. So that's the difference. The difference between last year and this year is last year we might have come up on the short end of the stick because of the pressure, but this year we came out on the top end. It was nothing new to the guys, and that's the type of games that we're going to see in district all the time.
Next up in your doubleheader on Thursday was number 15 Midland. Your other returning starter from last year, Cade Branham, gets the ball and throws a 6-inning shutout with Ty Sampson on to complete the 7th inning. Any surprise at how well your pitching has been early in the season?
No, it's as long as we keep throwing strikes, it's going to be fine. The first couple guys, we had some guys returning from last year. The expectations there. We've had some good surprises over the weekend. Some guys stepping up who in their first varsity experience coming up on the mound, and I think that's been the difference right now of sometimes us going out and competing on the mound. So it's been fairly well on the mound.
And offensively in that game, Morgan Allen may be the hottest hitter in the lineup. He has 3 hits, along with Daniel Thompson had 3. Luke Piper added 2. Jordan Beminio, Reed Wilhoit with each 2 had RBIs. Your team has a lot of balance in the lineup this year at the plate, Coach.
Yeah, up and down the lineup, it's not like we're top heavy. We got guys down at the bottom who can do a job, and it's nice because each and every inning coming up, it seems like we got a leadoff hitter in there and somebody who can put the ball to, a gap hitter inside of there, and it's there's not an easy out in the whole lineup, and that's the difference. And we even got depth on the bench this year. That's huge as well. We can put we can have some guys come up off the bench and do just like they were a starter along the way, and so that's huge as well.
Friday tournament play, your day starts off with number 4 ranked South Lake Carroll. Geyer gets out to an early lead 4-1 behind solid pitching from Trent Hunter, only giving up 3 runs. Then South Lake goes up 7-4. It was not looking good at that point, Coach.
No, especially when we jumped up 4-0 early on, and then they kept battling away. Trent, as Trent said, he was not very sharp that day. It was probably one of his worst outings that he had throughout the year coming up, but he battled. We were up, we got down 7-4 and told our guys just to keep fighting, keep plugging away. And it's a game which they have to learn that sometimes you get up and that you can't relax. I think South Lake kind of relaxed a little bit, but the bottom half of the 6th inning, I think it was, or top of the 6th, whichever one it was huge for us. Put the ball in play. We had base runners, and pressure got to them. They made a couple mistakes along the way. But give it to our guys for not dying, but they kept fighting and trying to find a way into the very end, and that's huge character builder for us, just to never quit and just to keep going, to fight to the last out. And it's like one of our saying is to win the pitch, and it starts with winning every battle, every pitch. And that's what we did that last inning. We're just winning pitches, and it was huge. Robbie Simmons coming up, getting the final outs of the last inning because we faced the meat of their order was 2, 3, and 4, and that and South Lake played their number ones that game. We saw some good guys, and we got the outs.
Reed Wilhoit added 6-inning heroics, like you mentioned. I believe it was a bases clearing double that gave you the lead, and you did not surrender it. So. Coach, these type of come from behind wins have got to build some character in your clubhouse.
Yeah, that's the confidence in there. But I told them, you just got to stay even throughout the baseball game. You can't get too high, but you can't get too low. You just gotta keep a calm mindset, and because during the game there's going to be times when things are not going well for you, and no matter what, you can watch any high school baseball game. There's always something going to go bad throughout the game, but there's also going to be always something going good, and you just got to keep a level mentality.
Speaking of lows, Game 2 on Friday, you faced a tough Capel team ranked in the top 15 in the state that found a way to silence your hitters, and they got out to an early lead. Baseball has its ups and downs. Did the emotions of coming back from beating South Lake play any role in that loss?
No, I just think it's one of those days when as we saw on Saturday with Jesuit with this one, hitting is contagious. Coppell just came out and they didn't miss at anything. Everything they hit was hard. I don't even know if they can do that in BP, hit the ball that hard with a machine up there or somebody throwing and hit it consistently like they did. Like I said, but one of the things after there, yeah, it's fine. But like Coppell's coach told us, and we told the team too, when you're playing this tournament in which every team is a playoff team and you got 6 games, that's kind of like going 3 rounds deep in the playoffs, and you're not going to sweep everybody for the first 3 rounds and go 2-0, 2-0, and 2-0. Along the way, you're going to have a loss along the way in playoff series, and you're just going to have to bounce back. And that's what we told them after that loss on Friday night. Hey, we competed. We didn't really make any mistakes, and they just hit the baseball. Let's come back tomorrow, forget it. Let's worry about tomorrow, and that's what happened.
Then you bounce back Saturday afternoon. You open up with number 12 Dallas Jesuit. Morgan Allen continued his hitting, was an RBI machine, driving in 5 runs on the day with 3 hits. Nick Klein and Carson Osmer each added 3 hits. Carson Osmer had a breakout game at the plate, and Bristol Carson, one of your other sophomores, was solid on the hill pitching 4 innings. You got out to a 10-0 lead in the first inning. Not a bad way to start.
No, it was kind of surprising. We just got hit after hit. We did some stuff, small ball stuff, caught them off guard, and before we know it, it's 3-0 with no outs and guys at second and third, and and then I think we had another base hit or double along the way that broke it open at 5-0, and we just kept hitting, and then that's a good thing to have. But along the way, Bristol Carson came up and did a great job. He's been improving each and every time he steps foot on the mound. We taught him a slider this past week to go along with his curveball and another pitch along the way, which was kind of a difference maker. And you can kind of see his confidence is going up each and every time he steps foot on the mound. And he's going to have to be somebody that we're going to have to count on in the years to come, if not this year as well. When stuff happens like it did against Jesuit with us hitting, it just carried over, and hopefully the confidence carries on throughout this next week too.
Yeah, and you wrap up the weekend facing number 2 Rockwall on their home field. Coach, it felt like a district game. Rockwall had the entire town there to watch. It seemed like you get out to a 7-1 lead behind Nick Klein on the mound. Nick really kept their hitters off balance.
Yeah, it was a case. It was Nick's first start in 2 years on the mound, and it's a case when sometimes we saw Rockwall last year, and they got a majority of their baseball team back, and that's why they're ranked number 2 in the state. They've got big kids there who can hit it out at any time. Their shortstop's committed to go to OU. There's other D1 commits on there, and so what it is, we thought about just kind of have somebody keep them off balance and throw below their bat speed, and that's what Nick Klein did. And he kept it hitting. Nick Klein has a great changeup, so his fastball is about 70, and then his changeup's about 50, and then he's got a slider which we tweaked and worked with, in his curveball, and we had to pitch backwards to him, and you could tell that it was frustrating them. It was frustrating their coaches, and he just ran out of gas, and I think it was the 5th inning along the way, and walked a couple guys, and when you walk a couple guys, it takes one big swing, and that's what happened. All of a sudden you look up now, it's a bases loaded double, and now it's 7-4, and now they've got momentum going with no outs, and sometimes it's hard to stop it, but fortunately we were able to stop it at 7 and get out of there with at least a tie along the way, even though a tie is kind of like it's really nothing, but for us to go to Rockwall, like I said, on a Saturday night, which they had a real good fan base there. It was competitive. It had a feel of like you said, a district baseball game, kind of like a playoff baseball game along the way, and it was something that we needed going into district.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it wasn't looking good. I think it was bottom of the 6th. Rockwall had runners at 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out. But if your team found a way to get out of the inning, you ended the inning getting a tag out at home, and the dugout really came alive. And like you mentioned, just walking out there with a tie and not the loss, I think was a big momentum thing going into district play, which leads us to Tuesday night right here at the ballpark at Geyer versus the Plano Wildcats. You open up Plano. They're 8-5 on the season and a playoff contender the last 6 years in a row. Your team's playing with a lot of confidence right now, Coach. What are your thoughts going into Tuesday night?
Tuesday night's going to be a battle of what I think would be the couple of the heavyweights in our district along the way. Plano's got a majority. I think they got 6 returning starters from last year. They got their 2 top pitchers back on the mound. They're very similar to us in a way. They've got a lefty. The Matt Foster kid's going to throw on Tuesday night. He's about 84, 85 from the left-handed side. As I told him down here this morning, it's going to be a battle of who makes the least mistakes. We got to be able to put the ball in play. We're going to have to do some small ball stuff along the way. Get out of here with it. I'm looking at right now, if we get a split this next week, that's a good thing right now coming up.
Well, thanks for joining us, Coach Watson, and have a great week as you start district play.
All right, appreciate it.